In a world where crime and notoriety often seem to be dominated by men, another equally chilling narrative emerges, one that challenges stereotypes and upends expectations. Welcome to an exciting journey through the shadows, in which we will tell about the lives and stories of some of the most dangerous women in the world. Joanna Dennehy. In April 2013, the trial of British Joanna Dennehy took place. She was charged with 3 murders. The sentence was similar to that of the serial killer Wetlaufer, life imprisonment. Dennehy's first victim was her boyfriend, whom she stabbed in cold blood. The second is her employer, to whom the girl cut her throat. A neighbor died the third from her hands and a knife. The female killer at the trial said that she was inspired by the heroine of Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction. It would have been better if she had never watched this movie. The woman laughed, saying that she killed for fun. Oddly enough, a British woman who tried to imitate strong women from movies had accomplices. In addition, Dennehy suffered from obsessive-compulsive disorder, but did not receive treatment. Nevertheless, the court found her sane and put her behind bars. La China, aka Melissa Calderon Ojeda, contacted the criminal world of Mexico in 2005. She collaborated with a drug cartel, and in 2008, a female criminal already headed a squad of mafia fighters. As a result, in 7 years in the territory where the Demuso drug cartel ruled, the number of murders tripled. Melissa knew no mercy. She even developed her own style of murder. In fact, until 2015, La China was the head of the Mexican drug mafia, but she was pushed out of prison by the former head of the clan. Ojeda did not despair and organized her own gang together with her lover Pedro Gomez. The gang of the newfound gangsteress was terrifying for the whole neighborhood, and La China's cruelty crossed all boundaries. In the end, in 2015, Gomez himself handed her over to the police. At the trial, the godmother of the mafia was charged with 150 murders and drug trafficking. Her prison term will be 893 years. Xia Kaiping. Mafia godmother Xia Kaiping is one of the most famous female criminals in China. For many years, she kept more than 20 brothels, sold drugs, and was very cruel to enemies. One day, Kaiping ordered the hands and feet of a man who revealed her location to be cut off. It turned out that Xia Kaiping even had bodyguards from among the police investigating her case, and also a sultry temperament and excellent health. She kept 16 young lovers. Kaiping also lent money at favorable interest rates, and when she did not receive money, she dealt with the victim. In addition, in her brothels, boys and girls abducted by her henchmen worked. And Xiet Sapin managed to organize an underground casino. In 2009, a mafia woman was finally caught and jailed for 18 years. Enadina Ariano Felix. Until the girl became the head of the mafia, she was engaged in solving her money issues. Thanks to her intelligence, she came up with many schemes for how to launder money from the sale of drugs. Before Enadina, mafia thugs famously dealt with all competitors, but the mafia woman began to solve all problems peacefully. Soon, the mafia of Tijuana had no enemies and competitors left. In addition to selling drugs, Felix and her henchmen kidnapped people, smuggled them into the United States, and engaged in extortion. The godmother of the mafia is still at large. Erminia Giuliano. The Neapolitan mafia, Camorra, is considered one of the most violent and influential in the world. For a long time it was run by the men of the Giuliano family, but when they were all arrested, Erminia Giuliano had to take matters into her own hands. Very quickly, the gangster turned out to be on the list of the 30 most dangerous criminals in Italy. During her time in power, she significantly reshaped the structure of the criminal syndicate, putting her people in the right places. The Camorra's business took off, but not for long. In December 2000, one of the most dangerous criminals in the country was detained. Juan Barraza. Juana was born in Mexico, where her alcoholic mother sold the girl for a few cans of beer. The man who bought her regularly raped the girl and bullied her. For a long time, Barraza worked as a professional wrestler, performing under the pseudonym Lady Silence. Her sports career continued until old age, which, however, did not prevent her from committing crimes. She came to elderly single women, smiled affably, called herself a social worker. Once inside the house, she beat the victim, strangled her with a stethoscope, and robbed the house. Juana Barraza suffered from psychopathy and felt no remorse, no pity, no regret. She associated elderly women with her mother, and she was sure that by killing them, she was helping society. Her crimes ended when he saw her from vigilant witnesses, and the police arrested Wada. The police were amazed to find out who actually killed the unfortunate. She was sentenced to 759 years in prison. Myra Hindley. Myra Hindley and Ian Brady were the performers of murders on the moors, on the territory of Manchester. Myra claimed that Ian first started talking about committing the perfect murder in July 1963 and often discussed with her the work of the American novelist Meyer Levin coercion. Together, these two monsters were responsible for the abduction, sexual coercion, torture and murder of 3 children under the age of 12 and 2 teenagers, 16 and 17 years old. The last victim of the bloodthirsty couple was 17-year-old Edward Evans, whom they met at the train station. Having invited the teenager home to allegedly celebrate the acquaintance, they beat him with an axe and strangled him with an electric wire. At the time of Edward's murder, 17-year-old David Smith, the lover of Myra's sister, as well as a friend of Ian Brady, was in the criminal's house. It was decided to get rid of Edward Evans' body the next day, and Ian asked his friend David Smith for help. David agreed, but as soon as his foot crossed the threshold of his own house, he immediately reported the murder to his wife, as well as to the nearest police station located in Hyde. Myra was found guilty of 3 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. She never left the prison walls and died in prison in 2002. Karla Homolka. This Canadian girl of Czech origin became addicted to Satanism in her youth. At one time she worked part-time in veterinary clinics, killing animals. Soon 17-year-old Karla met 23-year-old Paul, with whom she began to embody her terrible fantasies. Karla lured young girls to her house, creating a real prison for them there. The sexual atrocities carried out by the couple surpassed anything ever known. The victims eventually became 3 girls aged 13 to 15 years. Paul made them beg him for sex by raping and videotaping it all. His girlfriend also took an active part in the action. After her arrest, Karla gave evidence that allowed her to be sentenced to only 12 years. But Paul will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Karla walked away from responsibility, shifting all of it to her partner. He acted as the executor of the plans of his girlfriend, the director. Maria Licciardi. Maria Licciardi is another godmother of the Neapolitan mafia, who headed the Licciardi clan. Maria Licciardi became the mafia boss in the 1990s. She inherited this unspoken title after her brother, nicknamed Monkey, died in prison, and her nephew, who was supposed to inherit the family business, was killed. Maria became famous for finding new sources of income for her gang, human trafficking, and the provision of sex services. The group bought underage girls from the Albanian mafia. The poor devils were lured by promises of employment in Italy with a high salary. Subsequently, the deceived girls simply fell into slavery. Those who for some reason were not suitable for providing sex services were killed. In 2001, Licciardi was arrested and convicted of mafia-related crimes. She served 8 years, and after she was released, she became the head of another Camorra clan, the Secondigliano Alliance. She was arrested again at Rome's Ciampino Airport by Carabinieri on the orders of the Naples prosecutor's office on charges of extortion as the head of the Licciardi Camorra clan on August 7, 2021, while trying to travel to Spain.